Hello and welcome back to Pastor Garlic's Kitchen. Today we're doing one of my favorite speed meals. This is soy sauce garlic chicken. So Pastor Garlic's chicken from Pastor Garlic's Kitchen. So I've got some chicken thighs here, got some low sodium soy sauce, and I've got some minced garlic here. And we're going to do this in the broiler, in the oven. And so I got my broiling pan laid out. I'm going to go ahead and turn the broiler on now so that the oven can kind of heat up a little bit. And while I do that, I'm just going to mince up the garlic real quick. And got this cool little tripod, so let's see if the phone doesn't fall over. But if you've ever tried to mince garlic or tried to peel garlic, it can be kind of a real pain. I'm going to show you a little tricky way to do this. You just cut the end off, okay? Cut the end there, and it'll kind of peel mostly. But if you cut the ends off, and then you just take your knife and you just kind of smash it down, then look at that. The peel comes right off, okay? I'll do that to the other one too. So just take it right here and you just smash it down, and look at that. The peel just comes right off. Come on, behave. It's supposed to anyway. There it is. Yep, it just comes right off. And so that's an easy way to peel the garlic. And then we're just going to mince it up nice and fine here. This one has a little piece that doesn't look so good on it, so just cut that off. And the idea here is that as you mince it up, it really releases the flavor, the wonderful natural flavor and the healing properties of garlic. Garlic is so good for you. Aside from warding off vampires, it helps to lower your cholesterol. Does it? I think it does. It has all kinds of health benefits. Anyway, you can look those up as well. So I'll just mince it up. It doesn't have to be super fine, but just kind of enough. And what happens is that as you then drop it into your bowl. Let's see if this. Yep, here we go. We're gonna just drop it in here, and then just get our soy sauce. You don't have to. It doesn't need a whole lot. This is the great thing about this, is that it's a pretty easy thing. It's pretty fast. I think when I started the clock here, or when I started the video, it was about 6:22, I think, was the time of day. I've got a soccer game here in a couple hours, so I'm really wanting to eat somewhat soon, and so I can digest my food. And so notice there's a big chunk of skin on this one. I'm going to just kind of slice that off. I love skin, but skin is also where the fat is, so I just kind of trim that off. And chicken thighs, I love chicken thighs because chicken thighs have so much flavor, and they're really tender as well, and they cook up pretty quickly too. So I've got here 2 packets. It was buy one, get one free. And I got these at, I think, just the local grocery store at the QFC. And so you just put them in there, and it is just really simple. You don't need to marinate them a long time, because the marinade gets on the chicken, and we'll continue to kind of baste it a little bit when we put it in the broiler. But as you can see, I didn't put a ton of soy sauce in there, but it's just enough to kind of mix it around and get it on there. And then as you bake it, as you broil it, then it really gives it a nice flavor. So I've got my pan over here, and I'm gonna try not to tip my tripod over, but I'm just gonna lay the chicken out on the broiling pan. And as I do this, I'm gonna do it with the final presentation side up, because I'm gonna flip it twice. All right, so this is how it's going to end. So I'm going to flip it once so that the nice side is down, and then I'll flip it another time so then the nice side is up. So this one I didn't really clear off the extra fat, so I'm going to just trim that quickly here. All right, so then we get that marinade going, drop it on here, and you want to try not to make it too compact. Give it a little bit of space to breathe on the broiling pan, and then I'm going to rinse my hands off here. You always want to wash your hands with soap when you've been handling raw chicken. And then we're gonna put it into the broiler that's now probably pretty well heated up. And we're just gonna let this broil for about 10 minutes on the first side. So I'm gonna set my timer here, and then I'll show you how you flip it. Actually, I'm probably gonna do 7 minutes. So we'll pause and we'll be back. So I told you I'd come back when the chicken was done, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make a little bit of a appetizer out of tofu. And this is the organic firm tofu, and I cut this up a little bit, used some of it the other day, but this you can do a great little easy quick appetizer. And where's my knife? Let's see. I clean my knife off because I used to cut chicken. And this tofu appetizer is really quick and easy. I'm going to cut it into little squares. All right, and so just kind of do it like so. And then just little squares here. And I'm gonna put some breadcrumbs. I got some Italian breadcrumbs. So mixing our family cultures here. For those of you who don't know, my wife Anna, she's full-blooded Italian. And so we have great food in our house. So probably do some Italian foods here too. So here's some breadcrumbs. I'm just going to take the tofu and I'm going to just drop them in there and get them coated with the breadcrumbs. In the meantime, I'm going to turn my my cooktop. Put this on high, and I'm going to get a little bit of olive oil in here into the frying pan and just kind of heat that up. A couple tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'm going to take the tofu and kind of mix it around. Toss the breadcrumbs in here. And our chicken is now just probably about ready to turn over. It's been going probably for about 6-7 minutes. And as you can see, it's getting beautifully browned. And so I'm going to see if I can do this without burning myself. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And oh, they haven't invented phones with sense of smell yet. But oh, if you could smell this, you'd want to come over right now. Maybe you do anyway. But you can see it got nicely browned without burning. Okay, and you can see that it definitely needs to be cooked more thoroughly. And I don't put this on the very top shelf of the oven, because if you put it on the very top shelf, it's gonna be too close to the elements and it will burn. And so so I put it kind of on the second shelf. And then I flipped it over and I put it back in here. Now, in the meantime, my frying pan is getting nice and hot, and I've got my nicely breadcrumbed little tofu here. Everything looks like it's nicely mixed. Okay, and I'm going to wait till this gets hot, because if the frying pan isn't really hot, then what happens is when you put these in, it'll soak up the grease. And if it's hot, then it kind of sears it, and it will kind of lock it in and keep it from being too greasy. So those are just some of the little cooking tips that I learned from my mom, as I would always help her out in the kitchen. And so when you can see when the oil is starting to kind of separate a little bit, that it's probably going to be hot enough. I'll turn the fan on here, and I'm just going to drop these in. Drop these into the pan. These, you can have them as an appetizer, you can have them as part of your main dish, but I always like to make rice. Today I was in a bit of a rush. I came home, was at the Higher Ground Men's Conference today. Oh my gosh, what an amazing conference that was. We had Seahawk great Jim Zorn shared an encouraging message. We had Dan Allender and Jay. What was Jay's last name? Oh, I'm so sorry, Jay. But anyway, all these speakers were just incredible. And it's an annual conference that's held every year, and the Higher Ground Men's Conference. I led one of the workshops, and so came back and thought I would just make a quick dinner, because we had some of these pieces of chicken that needed to get cooked. And so you can see here that the oil is, you want the oil to get well distributed in the pan, so that, see, the way that this particular pan is, it crowns a little bit in the middle, so the oil goes to the edges. So I'm just going to put the tofu where the oil is. The center of the pan will tend to be the hottest, but so I'm going to pause the video. I'll come back when this is more or less done, and when we are turning our chicken again. As you can see, the chicken is getting cooked here, and so I'll be back. Okay, the first side of the chicken, we went probably 7-8 minutes, and then now we've been going another 7 or 8 minutes, and as you can see, it's nicely browned. Probably going to give it another minute or two in here to keep cooking. The important thing is that it doesn't get burned, okay? And as you can see, it's getting brown, but it's not burned, so I'm going to just give it a little more time, because obviously with chicken you want to make sure it's nice and thoroughly cooked. And here's our tofu. Oh, our tasty fried tofu appetizer here. Look at that. It's getting nicely browned on each side. And just kind of keep turning it so that it doesn't get burned. There's 6 sides to the as every good cube has. But you don't have to brown every side. Then I get some sea salt and just kind of gently sprinkle some sea salt on here to give it some nice flavor. Okay, and then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of sesame oil in here as well. Okay, that gives it a very nice kind of extra kind of little bit of a Asian flavor. The sesame oil. There you go. So I think we're almost done here. We were probably ready to roll anytime on the tofu. I just put a little more sea salt there. Time to turn the chicken one last time. So, oh, look at that. Oh, really, really yummy. So I'm going to turn it over one more time. You know, this is, you have to really kind of check it out and gauge it and see if it's getting done. Because, again, like I said, you don't want to have undercooked chicken. So if you have a meat thermometer and you want to check it that way, you can do it. I'll tell you one of my little tips here afterwards. But I'm gonna see, I've got some leftover soy sauce, and you just kind of sprinkle it over the top a little bit here, because you don't want to let that go to waste, because it is just so nice. And I'm gonna just turn this around, get a little bit more on here. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna just put it back, close it up. As you know, when you use a broiler, you don't want to shut the, you want to leave it to breathe, allow the air to circulate a little bit. Oh yeah, I can turn off our tofu here. Tofu is ready to roll. Alright, that was tasty. So you don't want it to burn, so take it off the heat, but the pan will still keep it warm. We'll rejoin in a couple minutes when the chicken's ready. So we're back rolling again. Now, as you can see here, the chicken, each subsequent time, you end up being able to have less time before it starts to burn. And so you just have to keep a close eye on it. And just by judging by the feel of the chicken, it's not fully cooked, all right? And so we've been going probably for about close to a half hour, or no, we've been going about little over 20 minutes. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually turn off the broiler, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and close the oven altogether, all right? So you get some residual heat happening from the elements that are still on, and now the chicken is we're gonna allow it to cook a little bit through while we're doing that. In the meantime, I am in the process of cleaning the kitchen, and this is just, this is a very basic cooking channel, and so this is a real life cooking channel, right? I don't have assistants, I don't have anything like that, and so while you're cooking and while the chicken is, finishing up, you can do all the dishes, and this is a great thing. So then once the dishes are all done, then you can enjoy your meal, and then you don't have to come back to a huge dirty kitchen. So our dishwasher was clean and full, so I'm unloading the dishes and gonna load up the dishes that we use for cooking, and then just that timing should allow us to be able to come back and enjoy the meal. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, so our tofu is still nice and warm. I know because I just tested one, and I've had the chicken in here for probably another 7-8 minutes. Oh, and look at that. Oh, wonderful. And it looks to be pretty well cooked as well. So I'm just going to take one out and put it on a little plate. And my soccer game is in an hour and a half. So I probably can just eat one piece for now. But, oh, look at that. And I'm going to put some tofu on a plate here on the side. And unfortunately, I didn't get to make any rice, but oh boy, that looks yummy. And I got the kitchen cleaned up. And, to me, it's good to have a good, tasty, healthy meal. Presentation is important though too, and so I just have some little greens in my. These are just like from Costco. These are power greens actually, and look at this. I'm just gonna set the chicken on top of there. I'm gonna put a few more pieces out here of my power greens, and I'm not just using them as garnish. I'm gonna actually eat them too. Okay, because I was in a little bit of a rush, so I didn't get a chance to actually prepare some greens. But look at that! Look at the difference of what the plate looked like before and what it looks like now. So, look at that. That is Pastor Garlic's soy sauce chicken, and garlic chicken, and tofu appetizer. So Now, I will have to just take it over to the table and cut into it so that you can all see me and hear me enjoying it. All right. So let's see here. Fork out. Oh, I'm so excited to try this. Oh, this is, you know, the nice thing about, I love to cook and I love to eat what I cook as well. So look at that. Oh. And it's fully cooked all the way through and nice and hot. Okay, here goes. I'm gonna taste it now. Oh my goodness. Oh, so good. So good. So I'm gonna stuff my face and enjoy. But thanks for tuning in. So total time elapsed on here. Let's just look. This was, I started cooking at about 22 after, I think. It is now 58 minutes after the hour. So about 36 minutes is what it took me to cook this meal. And I got the kitchen cleaned up, and it's going to be tasty. So anyhow, thanks for tuning in to Pastor Garlic's Kitchen, and hope that you have some happy eating. All right. Take care. Till next time.